back, our dear viewers. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyib, and President of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, discussed in Berlin ways to combat the rising wave of Islamophobia in Europe and ways to promote the interfaith dialogue in societies, as was announced by Al-Azhar. To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Sheikh Osama Elgohary, Azhar Imam and researcher in Islamic studies. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Sir, what is your comment on the visit by His Eminence, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, to Germany?
Okay, first of all, this comes in the role of Al-Azhar and His Eminence, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyib, Dr. Ahmad Al-Tayyib. As you know, Al-Azhar is the world's leading Sunni Islamic institution.
Yes.
It believes it is necessary to address recent incidents, as like the burnings of the Quran, attacks on the churches, and in other. So we, Al-Azhar, is concerned about human rights. Okay, and as a leading role of Al-Azhar and his Sheikh, His Eminence Ahmad Al-Tayyib, this visit to Germany comes in collaboration with other societies to address these issues. As you just mentioned, the rising wave is Islamophobia in Europe and ways to promote the faith dialogue in society.
Yes. Also, the Sheikh of Al-Azhar always emphasizes that Al-Azhar al-Sharif stands at the same distance from prejudges to any of the religions and does not differentiate between the Islamic sensities or other religions. What are the teachings and recommendations of Islam for the people of other religions, Sheikh Gohari?
Okay, so let's, for example, start before stating the Islamic role or the Islamic teachings about others. His Eminence, Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib, said that the only way to overcome crisis of the contemporary humanity is through dialogue and the promotion of culture of existence and replacing the bigotry and hatred. Okay. And also, Al-Azhar is the key to spreading the values of peace and human brotherhood, both locally and globally. Locally, as you might know, Al-Azhar has initiated several projects, including the Egyptian Family House in collaboration with Egyptian churches to stand against hatred and sectarianism. And globally, Al-Azhar also signed the document of human fraternity with His Holiness Pope Francis in Abu Dhabi 2019. As for your question about the stand of Islam in compared to or like the stand of Islam with other religions,
yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given human like everyone's God-given human dignity must be respected. This is stated in Quran. And also, Islam on Quran states clearly that freedom of religion is a God-given right, and the final judgment of all humanity lies in the hands of Allah, the One Almighty, the Creator. Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves justice, no matter what comes from Muslims or non-Muslims. So justice for all, and those who strive to practice justice are loved by Allah, especially toward people who are different from them in any way, including religions, for example.
Yes, indeed. Sheikh Gohari, why is the signing of the historical human brotherhood document between His Eminence Sheikh of Al-Azhar and His Holiness Pope Francis in Abu Dhabi in 2019 is considered one of the most important steps also to promote the values of peace, as it is considered actually a message that carries good for the whole world? What's your take on that, Sheikh Gohari?
Okay, so the signing of this document, the Human Fraternity for World Peace and Living Together, came after long negotiations between Al-Azhar and the Catholic Church, the Holy Pope Francis. And this is a model for compassion and human solidarity. It urges religions and political leaders to bring an end to wars and conflicts and environmental destruction. The document is concerned with how faith can live peacefully in the same world. The document is also a breeding ground for meaningful works, okay? And there are many studies came after this document, like PhDs, theses, stressing and searching the ways or how to imply or to imply this document. So this document is a sign of how can religions can put us together, not differentiate us.
Sir, also Sheikh of Al-Azhar, His Eminence Dr. Ahmad Al-Tayyib expressed his appreciation for Germany's great support for the refugees.
Yes.
It welcomed the hosting of millions to set example for human fraternity across the continent. Also, the German president expressed his warm welcome to Sheikh Al-Azhar in Germany, stressing his pride in the visit, which came at an important time. From your point of view, Sheikh Elgohary, why is Germany playing that important role in supporting the refugees and confronting violence?
Okay, so Germany is one of the leading countries in Europe, and it thankfully they are welcoming some refugees of the Middle Easterns. Okay, so no one can deny that. That's a good sign from Germany, but it's also the role of the leading world countries to start having their role and to start to have a role in alleviating the harm of the refugees, the issue of the refugees, especially the Middle Easterners. So it's a really good sign of Germany, okay, to start supporting the refugees, and now it's time to start facing the Islamophobia issue, and the role of and this was happening with the sharing in the conference with Sheikh Ahmed Tayyib, His Eminence, in Europe. In Germany, in the recent conference, and this was a really good sign from the German country, okay, for having their role in facing the Islamophobia and supporting the refugees.
Yes. Sir, the importance here of fighting the Islamophobia. One of the most important topics discussed between Sheikh Al-Azhar and the President of Germany was the issue of the dangers of the Islamophobia on the societies. How that could be tackled from your point of view, Sheikh Elgohary?
Okay, so it's not like a hidden subject anymore. That there are uprising Islamophobia issues in Europe. Almost all Europe, like the burnings of Quran in Sweden, okay, and what happens in France with like banning the students from wearing their own kind of clothes, like Islamic clothes. Okay, I'm not like calling Islamic clothes, but they are fearing of Islam. But Islam doesn't have this kind of phobia, okay? Islam is a religion of peace, okay? Islam urges peace, and Islam also has participating in the building this country. So there are many scientists, many people who are Muslims who like in France there are more than 5% of Muslims. They are having the share in building the country, and almost all other European country, wherever you go, Muslims are having their share. They are supporting the society. They are not like tourists or something. Can you imagine that all Muslims are tourists? This is not. It's going to be a nightmare. But the other way around.
Yes.
Muslims are having their share in building their societies. They are good citizens in their in whether to be in European or any other continent. So it's time to stop the Islamophobia.
Yes.
The Islamophobia issue. It's time to stop it and try to make Muslims one in a whole society to and to face other problems that face the humanity. Okay, there are many other issues that we can spend our efforts in, other than facing the so-called Islamophobia.
Indeed. Sir, actually, the only way to overcome the crises of contemporary humanity is through the dialogue and the promotion of a culture of coexistence and the rejection of any sort of hatred. How that could be reached from your point of view, Sheikh Gohari?
Okay. As I said, cross-culture communication, sitting together, putting our issues on the table, start solving it one by one, putting the false background, okay, all aside, and start speaking, start listening to each other, okay, leaving religion alone. We are human beings after all, okay. So whether to be Muslim, non-Muslim, we are, after all, human beings. We're going to put our problems on the table and start solving it one by one, okay? And start forsaking the bigotry and hatred, okay, all the time. Because, as Sheikh Al-Azhar said in his conference, we are in this millennia. We have moved too fast in technology, in a matter of technology, but at the same time, we haven't advanced in the humanity issue, in the humanity side. So we need to, as we advance in the technology side, we have to compare that, or to have same foot to foot with the humanity issues. We need to put wars aside and try to live as human beings, because after all, war is not going to solve these issues. It's going to deepen it, okay? And I mean, wars is just like conventional wars, but the thinking wars, the idea wars, the wars of speaking, the word of thinking. So we have to put our arms aside and start talking and solving our issues. This is the only way.
Yes. Sir, also during the meeting, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar emphasized the role of Al-Azhar, actually, which is dedicated to spreading the values of peace and human brotherhood. How do you see here the role that is played by Al-Azhar in order to reach these very important values and make the world actually understand the real values of Islam?
Okay, this is a really big issue. Okay,
yes.
So it's not like Al-Azhar is doing its own part. Yes, it's not that big one. We are hoping that Al-Azhar is going to play more role, to be enabled actually.
Yes.
To be enabled to address these issues. Okay, and Al-Azhar and Sheikh Al-Azhar Ahmed Tayyib, His Eminence Sheikh Al-Azhar Ahmed Tayyib has really great project working on like bridging the gaps between thinking between people, okay, and this is a way of putting people together and start forsaking hatred and sectarianism and put it aside and start building the reality, building the bridges between people and cultures. Okay, this is the only way to have a peaceful society to live in. Okay, we are fed up with wars. We are fed up with sectarianism. We are fed up with phobia, Islamophobia. Now it's time to start living in a peaceful society for all.
Indeed, Sheikh Osama Elgohary, Al-Azhar Imam and researcher in Islamic studies, thank you so much for being with us and for your precious input. Our dear viewers, will go to a short break, and after that we'll be back to continue our segments in the breakfast show, so stay tuned.